Okay, in the previous video we discussed the direct material variances, and here we're going to take a look at the direct labor variances, and for cheerful colors in particular. So it works the same way. We look on our flexible budget report and performance report, and that's going to show us that there is a flexible budget variance. That means the difference between the direct labor that we paid for actually and the amount that we thought we would pay for direct labor for 52,000 batches of crayons. Okay, and so it turns out that the difference between the actual and the flexible budget for direct labor is $10,400 favorable. We need to break that down further, as we did with the direct materials. We have to break this down further into direct labor cost variance and a direct labor efficiency or quantity variance. So again, the direct labor cost variance, just like with direct materials, uses the same formula. The actual cost per hour minus the standard cost per hour, then multiplying that amount times the actual quantity of direct labor hours. Okay, so for the cost, we're looking at both the average hourly wages plus any fringe benefits average per hour that we're paying for the direct labor. Okay, so we found out that the standard for direct labor wages and fringes is $12 an hour. What we actually paid was $145,600 for direct labor, and we had a total of 10,400 direct labor hours. So 145,600 that we paid divided by how many hours that covered is $14 an hour is what we actually paid per hour. Okay, so our direct labor cost variance again is AC minus SC. So the $14 an hour that we paid actually minus the $12 an hour that we thought we should have paid, then that difference, 14 minus 12 is 2, times the 10,400 total direct labor hours that we actually used. And that equals 20,800. Now, because our actual cost is more than our standard cost, this is going to be unfavorable. Okay? It cost us almost $21,000 more in direct labor costs because of the fact that we paid $2 an hour more on average. This goes over the direct labor efficiency variance. So, excuse me. So that's the quantity variance. How many direct labor hours did we spend? Okay, and how was it different from what we expected to spend for our total number of hours? And so our formula is just like the direct materials quantity or efficiency variance. We have the actual quantity of direct labor that we used minus what the number of hours we thought we should use, the standard quantity, and then that amount times the standard cost per direct labor hour, which was $12, we were told in the previous slide. So Cheerful Colors expects to use a quarter of an hour, that's 15 minutes, a quarter of an hour of direct labor for each batch of crayons. So if we had 52,000 batches that we sold, and each one took us a quarter of an hour. 52,000 times 0.25 is 13,000 direct labor hours that we thought we would have to use. However, the actual number of direct labor hours that we did use was 10,400. So 10,400 direct labor hours was less than what we thought we would use. And the standard cost again is $12 per hour. So now we can plug this all in to our formula. And so we have the actual quantity of direct labor hours, that's 10,400. We subtract out the number of hours we thought we would use, the standard quantity of 13,000. We take that amount and multiply it by the standard cost per hour, which is $12 per direct labor hour. Once I calculate that all out, I get 31,200. Because the 10,400 is less than the standard of 13,000, that's going to be favorable. Whenever our actual is less than a standard, it's going to be favorable. If our actual is more than the standard, it's going to be unfavorable. Okay, so we saved $31,200 for direct labor because of the fact that we used less. Now, in the previous slide, we said that we had an unfavorable variance because of the fact that we had paid $14 per direct labor hour instead of the $12 that was the standard. So maybe the Human Resources Department decided to get more experienced people. And so they paid more, and because of that, and getting more experienced people out there, those people knew what they were doing, and they were able to save the company $31,200 because those people were a lot faster. They were able to get the job done with less hours. All right, so for overhead, recall that we accumulate the actual cost for overhead on the debit side of our overhead, and then we apply or allocate overhead based on some kind of predetermined rate or some other kind of rate. Okay, so this predetermined overhead rate can also be called the standard overhead allocation rate. So our standard, okay, the amount that we expect to apply. Okay, so the actual overhead costs are divided then further into variable overhead costs and fixed overhead costs. So here's our overhead T account. Our actual overhead costs includes indirect materials, indirect labors, repairs, insurance, property tax, depreciation of the factory and equipment, etc. Utilities for the factory building, anything related to the factory building and factory equipment, okay, is an overhead cost, going to be debited to overhead. Then we're going to figure out how much overhead should be applied to work in process, and that will be done based on a predetermined rate. We multiply it by however many direct labor hours or machine hours, whatever our cost driver is, for each separate job, and that amount of the overhead is applied out of the overhead account and into the work in process account onto that particular job. So when we take a look at the overhead costs, we also have to divide them out. Are these particular costs variable or fixed? So indirect materials, the more units we sell, the more indirect materials we're going to have to use. And the same with the indirect labor. And generally, if we sell more items, we're going to have more repairs and maintenance that we have to do on the equipment, the building, etc. So those would all typically be considered variable. Now, the insurance that we pay for the factory building, that's a flat amount. The property tax we pay on the building, that's a flat amount. Depreciation is calculated, straight line depreciation, going to be a flat amount. It doesn't matter how many units we sell, those things are all going to have to be at their same flat amount. So those are fixed. Now, if we have any mixed related expenses, we will have to do like we did back in Chapter 3. We're going to have to divide those mixed costs out into what's the variable part, what's the fixed part. Now, our predetermined overhead rate that we use to apply overhead to work in process, that rate is also called the standard rate, okay? That rate was calculated by taking the total estimated costs. So we totaled up all these costs that we think we're going to have for next year, and then we divide out the total estimated cost driver for next year. So if that's based on direct labor hours, we would total up how many estimated direct labor hours do we think we're going to use next year. Okay, so now we can divide out that one predetermined overhead rate into two separate rates. Okay, and so we're going to have a variable overhead rate and a fixed overhead rate. So the variable overhead rate would be the total estimated variable overhead costs. So we're only going to add up what we think we're going to spend next year on variable overhead costs. And we'll add up the total, and we already have the total estimated cost driver for next year. So we take the total variable cost we think we're going to spend divided by the total driver. And that gives us our variable overhead rate. Then we add up all the total estimated fixed costs like insurance and depreciation. We divide that by the total estimated driver, and we'll get the fixed overhead rate. If I add the variable overhead plus the fixed overhead rate, I should get the same predetermined main overhead rate. Okay, so for Cheerful Colors, they have total estimated overhead costs of $62,500, and they expect to use 12,500 direct labor hours next year. So we take the 62,500 expected costs divided by the 12,500 expected direct labor hours. That gives us $5 per direct labor hour. That's our predetermined overhead rate. Okay, and for each job then we would say, well, how many direct labor hours did this job take? Multiply by 5, and that's how we apply that overhead. Now, however, we're going to break that $5 down to its variable and fixed components. So the variable overhead rate is going to be the total of just the variable overhead costs, and let's say that's $37,500. We still divide it by the total direct labor hours we think we're going to have for next year. That comes up to $3. The fixed is, let's say, $25,000 of expected fixed costs for next year, divided by the total direct labor hours, and that gives us $2 per direct labor hour for fixed overhead rate. If I add the 3 and the 2,